Thanks for joining me. We're going to need a mat today and a blanket if you prefer, not required, but just a mat or a blanket. We're going to do some Pilates focusing on the core and on our powerhouse. And we'll just start in a comfortable seat. So that could be cross-legged, it could be the knees tucked underneath, or legs out to the front. We're just going to start with some warm-ups and some stretches. So just find that comfortable seat. And then really ground down through the sits bones here. So feel that ground nice and heavy underneath of you. Take the hands wherever's comfortable. Let's go ahead and take some shrugs of the shoulders. Just opening up here a little bit, relieving any tension that we're holding. And just match it with your breath here. So taking a nice big inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. And you can close those eyes if you like. Let's go ahead and take 2 more shrugs to the back. And then go ahead and reverse. So reach those shoulders up and forward. Just really rolling them out here for a few breaths. And then we'll take one just to the back to feel the shoulders set in their pockets. From here we can open those eyes. Let's go ahead and take that left hand, reach it up towards the ear, and then take that right out to the side. Palm can be facing down towards the mat. And we're gonna reach over here, nice big exhale, find the mat, and find our side bend. And then inhale, we'll press up through center, bring that right arm up, left goes down. Same thing, find our exhale up and over. And again, pressing away. Exhale, reach up and then over. Feeling that opposite hip sink down to the mat. And again, over to the left. Just noticing how you feel side to side. Starting to stretch out the side body here. Trying to let those legs be heavy and those hips be heavy. And we'll take one more here. Nice big exhale. And then we'll come up through center, reach both arms to the ceiling. That gaze can follow. Maybe take a little bit of a back bend to open the chest. And then we'll guide that left hand behind you as the right arm goes down, coming into our twist. And then either using the knee or the floor to help deepen that twist. Opening the back shoulder, feeling the twist through the spine. And then inhale up through center. Exhale, over to the other side. Finding your twist here. Feeling the belly gently pull in to help deepen the stretch. And inhale through center one more time. Over to each side, exhale, finding your twist, hips heavy, chest open. Inhale, center, and exhale. Lifting those arms all the way up on the inhale, and then exhale, we'll press the hands down. Meet the hands by the sides. From here, we're gonna come onto those knees, so tucking those legs underneath of you, and then we'll face one direction, one side of our mat here. We want our knees under the hips and the hands under the shoulders. So just in our all fours for our tabletop position. And then from here, really open those fingers, press the floor away, feeling the palms connect down, and then check those knees, make sure they're under the hips and we've got some space between them. We're gonna start with some stretches for the spine. So we'll reach that tailbone up towards the ceiling. Feel the spine start to arch, the chest press forward, and the gaze will lift. And then using the breath, tuck that tailbone under, exhale, pull the belly in, reach the spine for the sky, and then gaze comes underneath. Inhale, lead with that tailbone. Reach it back behind you. Feel the belly still connect as that spine arches, chest lifts, gaze comes forward, and then exhale, round the spine. A few more each direction here. Just let that spine move. Feel the ground underneath of you, supporting you. And let that breath flow trying to direct that breath all the way to the toes. Just filling every cell with that breath. And then after your last one here, we're going to meet in neutral. So finding a place between those two positions, and then feel that belly gently pull in towards the spine, so we've got some support there. We're going to guide one hand forward towards that short edge of the mat. Go ahead and lift that hand up, shoulder height, hold there. Reach that opposite leg back, toes can slide, and then add that lift if you'd like, finding our full bird dog position, that stretched and balanced position here, belly gently pulling in, fingertips reaching away from the toes, gaze slightly lifted to the front of the mat, and then exhale, return hand and knee down. Readjust if you need to. When you're ready, start with that opposite hand, bring it forward. Add that lift. Hold here. Inhale, send that opposite leg back. Add that lift. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath here, growing longer. And then use that exhale to guide the hand in. We're going to take that one more time each side. Refine that all fours position here. When you're ready, reach that first arm out. Add the lift, hold. Opposite leg slides back and lifts here. Really long through those limbs. Feel the core support you. And exhale, set it down. Over to the other side. Start with that hand. Add that leg. Lifting up, lengthening is key here. And then exhale. Bring that all in. From here, we're going to stretch the side of the body. So we just did our spine flexion and extension. We want to add some side flexion here. So we're going to tilt one hip towards the shoulder. Take that gaze, look back at the hip. Come through center and then over to the other side. So a little wag of the tail. Still feel the belly slightly pulled in towards the spine to support the movement. But really allow that side to bend as the gaze looks back. Just finding what our range of motion is here to start. And then one more to the other side, make sure you're balanced. And then come back through center. We're going to walk those hands in as we shift our hips back. Pause here a moment, shake out those wrists, maybe circle the wrists, whatever you need here to give them a little reprieve. And then we're going to lift those hips up so we're on our knees. And we're going to take the hands to the hips. So we're nice and tall here. And we want to start to feel again some connection through the core. So to find that in this position, we're going to feel the tailbone gently slide under or tuck under. So we've got a little activation through those lower abdominals, pulling the belly in. Feel those shoulders roll open, that gaze is forward. From here, we're going to take a nice big inhale. Use that inhale to stabilize those abdominals and start to lean back, finding what your range of motion is. And then exhale, brings you forward. Inhale, spine tall, belly pulled in, we're hinging at the knee. Exhale to center. Try that a few times here with your breath, allowing the tops of the feet to be heavy on the mat. Try to send some weight down into the shins so we don't grip through the knees. And we should feel a little stretch for the quads. And then we feel that support of the core, right, as we start to lean away from the center of gravity. Let's try two more. Chest nice and open, collarbones wide, gaze is forward. Last one. And then coming to tall. From here, we're going to take the hands down to the mat, and then I'm going to just switch over onto my bottom here, so I'm facing the opposite direction. So we're going to do a little bit more direct warm-up for that core. We did some balance work here. So now I want to find a little bit more strength for that core. So we're going to start with our knees bent. Feet can be flat. We're going to reach our hands forward. So in this position, a lot of times it's easy to kind of hang out back here. We really want to energize those fingertips forward. So we're nice and heavy on those sits bones, and we feel our shoulders over the hips. So this is already some work, right? That core is already challenged. Now from here, keeping my fingertips forward, I'm going to allow my tailbone to slightly tuck under me. So I'm going to try to send my low back for the mat, finding a curl or a curve through the spine. And then when I reach about my halfway point, I'm going to pause. Inhale here. And then exhale will take me forward, trying to keep that spine curled. So my gaze will point down towards the thighs. And then inhale, I restack or lift the spine. Exhale, I find that curl. So I lead with that tailbone, feeling my belly pull in, those low abs working. And then I still try to reach that low back for the floor first as I curl back. Inhale. And then exhale, curls me forward. Inhale brings me tall. We'll try a few more here. Just isolating those abdominal muscles as we start to stretch the spine. Feeling the feet nice and heavy on the mat here. Exhale forward. Inhale tall. Couple more. Feel the shoulders slide down the back here. They stay out of the ears. And last one in this position. Inhale, lift tall. Go ahead and let those hands come down to the knees or the shins. Give those shoulders just a little bit of a massage. And then we're going to work on a rotation a little bit in this position. So we're going to start by pressing those palms together. Bring the thumbs to the sternum and really feel those collarbones spread wide so the chest is open. And again, I'm trying to lean myself a little bit forward so I feel tall in this position. And then from here, I'm going to keep that height through my spine and now find a lean back. So I'm at an angle towards the back of my mat. And then I'm going to twist to the front. So I'm going to twist towards you, exhale. Inhale brings me center. And then exhale, twist to the back. Inhale brings me center. Exhale. Inhale, center. So as you go, start scanning the body here. See if those hips stay heavy. Or does one start to lift? See if those feet stay heavy. And see if we feel that spine stay nice and long. So think height all the way through the top of the head. Feel that rotation happen from the waistline. And then we've got one more to the back. Inhale, center, and then come all the way up. Go ahead and take those hands towards the feet. Give yourself a little fold forward here. Just let the spine round and those abdominals release. And then from here, we're going to walk those hands in. Go ahead and take them down by your side. We're going to lengthen the legs long. So just give yourself a little scan of those hamstrings, see how they're feeling. If they're a little bit tight, go ahead and take a little bend through the knee. I want to feel those feet flex, those toes pull in. Use those hands, really press yourself tall for a moment. So feel how that height is in the spine. And then keeping that height, we're going to release those arms forward. Stay nice and tall here. We're going to add on to that rotation. So take our hinge back. Now from here, open those arms out to the side. Holding this position, we're going to twist to the front. Exhale. Come back through center. Inhale. Exhale, twist to the back. Inhale, center. So start that twist with the chest here, trying to point that chest side to side. Allowing those hips to be heavy. Feet are still. One more each way. Exhale. Inhale, center. Exhale. here and give your spine a stretch as well as those hamstrings. Just exhaling to deepen that stretch, trying to sink the chest closer to the thighs. And then we'll go ahead and walk those hands into the body. We're going to slide those feet in, bring the knees bent. And then from here, we're going to have the hands behind the thighs. We're going to find our full roll down. So using those hands as a guide, we're going to lift our spine tall to start. Inhale. Exhale, feel that tailbone tuck, belly pull in as we start to roll back. And we're going to keep going here until we're all the way down on the mat. So let those hands slide down. Watch out. There we go. We're going to lay all the way down. And just make sure you're centered on your mat here. Oops, excuse me. Got room for your head behind you. Once you are there, walk those feet in a little bit further. We're going to focus on those low abdominals first. So take those hands by the side. Let the collarbones be wide. Feel the shoulders heavy into the mat. We're going to lift one leg to tabletop. So knee is directly over the hip and calf is parallel with the floor. Use your exhale, bring that other leg up to meet it here. So we've got both legs lifted, abdominals are turned on. From here, we're going to take both hands, set them on the tops of the thighs. So these are going to be our guide here. We're going to let that left knee release. So take it down towards the mat, keep that hand where it's at, and then exhale, bring the knee to the hand. Over to the other side, inhale. Exhale. So as you do this, feel the hips heavy in the mat, feel the back of the ribs heavy, feel the back of the shoulders heavy, and the back of the head heavy. We're trying to keep a little space behind the low back, maintaining what we call our neutral spine. So those abdominals have to work to support this position. And if you feel that back really start to arch, shorten that range of motion, so make it a little bit smaller. Maybe it's an inch or two. It doesn't have to be huge to be effective. Take one more each side. Last one. And then from here, go ahead and slide the hands to the shins, bring the knees to the chest, give yourself a hug, and make that connection of the low back to the back. So feel it nice and heavy here. Feel it stretch and open. And then from here, we're going to take those legs back to our tabletop position. So knees over the hips, and then gently bring those knees together. We're going to reach those hands up towards the ceiling, and then feel the shoulders heavy down to the mat. From here, we're going to twist those legs towards the front. So let both knees start to fall over to one side of the mat, and then use the exhale to bring the legs through center. Over to the other side, inhale. Good, and then exhale. Trying to keep those shoulders or those hands right where they're at, so the shoulders stay down on the mat. And that might mean a small range of motion again here, but we should start to feel those obliques, those side abdominal muscles turn on. All right, we're on our core challenge here. So really focusing on that powerhouse. Take one more each way. And last one. And then hands to the shins, hug the knees in. Give yourself a little stretch here. And then let's go ahead and set those feet down. So guide them to the mat. We're gonna take the hands up and overhead. Let's do some arm circles here. So send those hands back. Circle the arms out and down to the hips. Keep going here. Arms up, overhead, out, and in. And take a couple, just feeling the range of motion for the shoulders. Notice if there's any popping or clicking, maybe making those circles a little bit smaller. Let's take one more this direction. Once those arms reach towards the ceiling, we'll reverse, send the hands down, out, overhead, and up. Feeling the legs just nice and heavy, melting down towards the mat. hips are heavy and shoulders are connected down to the mat as well. Let's take 2 more. Adding that breath wherever feels good. And then reach the fingertips up. From here, we're just going to take a reach back to interlace those fingertips behind the head. So let those elbows come wide. Feel the head nice and heavy in the hands here. We're going to focus on those upper abdominals. So feet will stay down to start. We want those knees about hip distance apart. And we should feel some space behind the low back in this position. So make sure that tailbone isn't tucked under us, right? Feel it gently open and pointed down towards the ground. From here, we're going to take a nice big inhale. On the exhale, press the head into the hands, chin to chest. Start to curl head, neck, and shoulders away from the mat. And then inhale, set you all the way down. Nice and slow. Exhale, curl head, neck, and shoulders away from that mat. Inhale to set you down, keeping those elbows just gently wide. And feeling that inhale, expand the back of the ribs into the mat, starting that movement. And the exhale helps to pull the belly in towards the spine to get us a little bit deeper into that curl. Letting that head be heavy so the neck doesn't overwork or strain. And we're going to add a little twisting to this. So your next exhale, we're going to twist that shoulder towards opposite hip here. So twisting to one side, inhale down through center. Exhale over to the other side, twist. Inhale center. Trying to keep the hips heavy as the spine twists. And again, think shoulder to hip. Really trying to come up into that curl. One more to the back. And then we'll inhale down through center. Let's go ahead and release those hands. Take the fingertips up towards the ceiling. We're going to bring one knee to tabletop. That other leg up to meet it. Feel those low abs engaged. Reach the hands to the shins. And then use that pull in of the knees to curl the head, neck, and shoulders away from the mat. So we're in a tight ball shape here. Feeling that low back press down. We're going to let that left leg lengthen away. So we take both hands to the right knee. Give that knee a hug in. Feel those left toes reach out. And then exhale, switch. Inhale. Exhale. Staying in our curl. Chin is gently down. Gaze is towards the thighs or the belly button. Finding length through those toes as the leg reaches away. And then giving that knee a good hug. So feeling a little stretch for the hip. Try 2 more. Last set. And then go ahead and hug both knees in. Stay in that curl if you can. Reach those arms and legs up towards the ceiling. And then exhale in. Inhale, reach up. Exhale in. 2 more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale. Last one. And then set the head, neck, and shoulders all the way down. Let those ankles circle here for a moment, releasing any tension there. And then we're going to go right into our next one. So use those hands. Exhale, curl head, neck, and shoulders up. This time, instead of reaching up towards the ceiling, we're going to reach those legs and arms in opposite directions. So let those limbs lengthen away. And then exhale, circle the arms, hug the knees in. Inhale, lengthen away. Exhale. Try to keep the spine stable. So all that moves are those legs and arms. Head stays up if you can. Set it down if the neck wants to help too much here. Last 2. Last 1. Hug the knees in, curl a little bit deeper, and then set the head down. Let's go ahead and rock side to side. Give our spine and our hips a little massage. And then let's set the feet down, give ourselves a nice full body stretch. So let the legs lengthen, let the arms go overhead, and then that low back can lift here so we feel the stretch across the abdominals. And then if you want to make this a little bit more active, point through those toes and feel as if someone is pulling on your wrist here, helping you to grow longer. And then we'll circle those arms around on your next exhale. Palms will be down on the mat. Go ahead and slide the feet in. So we've got a nice sharp angle under those knees. I want to work a little bit on our glutes and hamstrings here. Now that we've got that core engaged, it'll know what to do for this next exercise. So hands are down, shoulders are open, feel the collarbones wide. Chin slightly tucked down so the back of the neck is long. What I want you to do is press into those feet. Lift the hips straight up toward the ceiling. And then exhale to set the hips down. Inhale to lift the hips up. Pressing into those feet. And exhale, hips to the mat. So really use those feet to help engage the hamstrings and the glutes. If you feel a lot in the quad, try to send that energy down through the heels. Let's take a few more here, noticing how those abdominals connect as you start to lift the hips. They connect to those ribs to help pull them down and in, so we don't overarch the spine. Exhale down. Let's try 2 more. Shoulders are wide. Inhale to lift. Exhale. Watching those knees, keeping them in line with the hips. Last one. And exhale. Set the hips down. Give your body a scan here. We're going to add on a little bit to this. So if that felt like where you want to be and stay, go ahead and keep that movement going. Otherwise, we're going to add on a little something. So inhale, press into the feet, lift your hips. Once you're in your bridge, keep those hips nice and level. We're going to lift one knee to tabletop. So taking that foot up. That other leg is working hard to keep you there. Adding on even further, reach that top leg for the ceiling. Adding on one more time, that leg can lower. And lift, try to keep those hips level. Bottom leg working hard, abdominals working hard here. Last 2. Add that breath, last 1. Bend the knee, set the foot all the way down. Set the hips down if you need to, otherwise we're going right to that other leg. We're going to lift the leg up, find that tabletop. Make sure the hips are level, reach that leg for the ceiling, and then add that dip. Reaching down and up. Really sending energy through those toes. That leg is super long. Last 2. And 1. Bend the knee, and then set the foot down, and then the hips come all the way down to the mat. Once they're there, let those knees sway side to side. Releasing any tension in the low back. And then let's go ahead and get a stretch while we're in this position. So bring those knees up towards the ceiling. We're going to widen the feet to the edge of the mat. So those knees are a little bit wider here. We're going to tilt those legs over to one side. And if those hands are in the way, just slide them out a little bit here. And then really try to reach the knees down towards the floor. So you might get a stretch on that IT band, right, that outer tissue here on the thigh. You might get a nice stretch through the glute or the hip area, or a nice stretch for the low back and the spine. And let's bring those legs through center, over to the other side. Let the knees drop down, sending a little energy there even to try to reach them deeper towards the ground. Keeping the shoulders heavy. And then we'll bring the knees all the way back up. From here, walk the feet in. We're gonna take the hands, just take them behind one thigh here, bring the knee up. We're gonna roll up to seated. So use that exhale to help get you there. Once you're there, we're gonna flip around. So tuck those knees under you. We're gonna just transition through that tabletop or that all fours position. So from here, we're gonna walk the hands forward just about a palm print or so, and then we'll shift the weight forward. So we're in a kind of a modified plank here. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you'd like to do this through plank as well, you can. We're gonna lower ourselves down to the mat. So either in this modified plank or reaching those legs long. Keep the elbows close to the body, abdominals pulling in. Use that exhale to slowly lower down towards the mat. Finding ourselves on our tummy here. Let those toes untuck, tops of the feet will be down. We're gonna make a pillow with those hands. So bring those hands forward, rest the forehead down. I'm gonna scoot back here a little bit, make sure you can still see me. So tops of the feet are down, head is down, and then let's just go ahead and take a breath in this position here so we kind of know what it feels like to be on our tummy. So let that belly be heavy, let the fronts of the hips be heavy here, the tops of the feet are heavy as well. Take a nice big inhale, and then let it all go on the exhale. One more breath here. And exhale. On that next inhale, go ahead and lift the forehead away from the hands. So we're just looking up, feeling the chest lift, and then exhale, set the head down. So nothing fancy here, just getting a little movement in the upper spine. And just checking in with the low body as well, seeing if there's anything negative in the low back. If there is, you can widen those feet just a little bit, give your back some space for this movement. And the next time that forehead is down, go ahead and keep it there. We're gonna add on. So keeping the forehead glued to the hands, we'll inhale, lift the chest away. Those hands will float away as well. And then exhale, set yourself back down. Inhale to float away, and exhale to lower. Try two more here. Exhale, and last one. And exhale, resting down on the mat. Now from here, I want to engage those abdominals a little bit. So we're going to use them to help us for this next exercise. So feel the abdominals just nice and heavy to start. Feel them press down into the mat on your inhale. And then on your exhale, see if you can start to pull that belly button away from the mat. So feel as if it gets a little bit lighter there. Maybe that tailbone tucks a little bit. Maybe you press that pubic bone down into the mat. So you've got some energy through the core. And then start to press some energy into the quads. So we feel the knees pull away from the mat. So we've got some energy into those legs. Go ahead and reach those arms forward. So those arms are lengthening out. Feel as if we're gonna start to swim here. We're gonna lift one hand up as that opposite leg lifts as well. And then set both limbs down over to the other side. Lift up and lower. As you go here, that gaze just can hover over the mat and stay down so we're not cranking that neck up, trying to look forward. And feel those abdominals helping you here. Really trying to think about length through those fingertips and those toes so you're growing longer as you move. Feel that glute connect as the leg lifts. We've got one more here. All those limbs are down. Now from here, lengthen through those limbs and then lift all four away from the mat. Maybe we just hover here. Maybe we slowly start to swim opposite limbs. Nice and controlled movement, thinking length through those fingers and toes. Gaze is still down. We're still breathing. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we'll bake the pillow with those hands, set everything down. Let the abdominals release, let those legs release here. And let's just take a few breaths. Go ahead and lift the head off the hands. Slide the hands under the shoulders, keeping those elbows close to the body. We're going to use those hands to press the chest away from the floor, pressing up into that all fours position, and then sink the hips back towards the heels. The hands can slide in a little bit here to find that child's pose position. And if this isn't comfortable for those knees or the hips, you can come back up to that all fours and flow through that spine movement here, or a cat-cow position. So just find your stretch or your resting pose and just breathe into it. And then from here, go ahead and press forward and onto the hands and knees. We're going to set that right hip underneath of us. So we're facing forward. We're going to do a little bit of work for our side abdominals. So we've done a lot for our front core muscles. So I want to add a little bit here on the side. So we're going to come down to our forearm. So when we're here, we want the elbow under our shoulder, and then those fingertips are pointing forward. We're going to keep that bottom knee tucked under you, and then really set those hips so that we're square. We've got one hip on top of the other. That top leg can reach long. So we're at just a little bit of a diagonal from the hips down to the toes. So once we're here, really try to open up through the chest. That hand can be down here for support or on the hips, but all I want you to do is really lift that bottom waist away from the floor. So it's tempting to stay down here and sink down here. So really try to press up and away, and we're already working, right? We've already got that core engaged. So from here, keeping that bottom knee down, that top foot is there for support as well. We're gonna press our hips up and just a little bit forward, and then we'll set the hips down. If that top arm feels like it's more in the way than helpful, take it to the hip. So pressing up and forward, and then set those hips down. Keep going here, feeling that forearm support you, right? That's your anchor under your shoulder. Stay strong through that bottom waist. Let's take 2 more, lifting the hips up, trying to keep them square and level, one on top of the other. Last one here. Lifting up, set the hips down. You can bring that top hand down for support. Readjust if you need to, but we're going to stay here one more moment. So feel that bottom waist lift up. We're going to focus on that top leg. So from here, point those toes and send the leg up towards the ceiling and tap it down. Same thing, send it up and down. So trying to point the toes forward. So we're working that top, that outer thigh. Adding that breath wherever is helpful. Shoulders open, gazes forward. Last 2. And 1. We're gonna lift that leg about halfway up. Hold here. Draw tiny circles all the way from the top of the thigh. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. We've got to reverse. Send it to the back. Stay stable through that low waist. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set the leg down. Press yourself up from the floor. Go ahead and bend that top knee, and then we'll shift that front leg a little bit forward. So we're in our Z sit. If this isn't comfortable for those knees, take a cross-legged position, or we can tuck the knees underneath. We're gonna reach that right arm up and over, a little bit of a counter stretch, stretching out that side waist that we just worked. Nice exhale. Inhale, come up, reach the hand for the floor, take that opposite arm up and over. And then one more stretch there, press the floor away, exhale. And then come all the way down. From here, we're gonna swing those legs forward and around, and then we'll readjust so that we're on that left hip. Scooting the hips toward that back edge of the mat, and then we'll come down to the forearm. And again, we want to try to have that elbow underneath the shoulder, fingertips pointed forward, and then we'll send those feet so that they're in line with the glutes, keeping that bottom knee bent, reach that top leg forward. So we've already got a lot of work here, right, to be in that position. And then we add just a little bit more, trying to lift that bottom waist up and away from the ground. So we've got our nice shape underneath the arm. From here, you can take that top hand to the hip. Hips are square, shoulders are stacked. We're gonna press into that top foot and that bottom knee to lift the hips up and down. Exhale, lift and down. Keeping the shoulders square, that gaze forward, so the neck is long. Doing the shoulder work, the core work here, and those hips as well. Last two. And last one. And then we'll set the hips down. You can bring the top hand down here. Readjust if you need to. Find that lift through the bottom waist. Point the top toes. Lift them up and tap down. Exhale. And down. Trying to keep that waist from moving so we don't sink down right when that leg lifts. We've got a lot of control here. Last two. And one. And then tap the toes down. We're going to lift about halfway up and then circle to the front for 4, 3, 2, and 1. We got to reverse. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set the foot down, bend that knee in, and then press away from the ground here to our seated position. We're gonna slide that leg in front of us here, coming into that Z-sit position. Bring that left arm up and over. Give yourself that nice stretch. Exhale. Inhale, take the hand down to the mat. Exhale, overhead. One more time here. Inhale. And exhale. And then bring that arm down. We're going to cross those legs in front of us here, finding that comfortable seat. And it can be different than what you started with here. But we just want to take all of what we did, all that nice work for the core, and just allow that to help us kind of sit nice and heavy here and just feel a little bit relaxed that we've now ended the class. So finding that seat, feel those shoulders roll open just a few times here, and that gaze can be soft or those eyes closed. Just refine that breath and that movement that we started with. Take one more, roll to the back for me. Let those shoulders be heavy, that gaze can open. Let's take 1 or 2 breaths here all together. So inhale those arms overhead. That gaze can follow. Exhale, press the hands down. Let's take one more. Inhale. And exhale, pressing the hands down. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll try to post some more classes. But thanks for joining me. Have a good one.